and it's not quite so sunny today, so lighting might be a little different than usual. So yeah, here we go with today's country, and hopefully I will be able to get it done in one clip. So yeah, here we go as we are talking about Slovakia, starting off with the history as usual. Yes, as the Slavs settled what is now Slovakia in the 6th century AD, but were soon conquered by people called Avars. But at the end of the 8th century they were kind of drawn out. And in the 9th century, Slovakia became a part of the state of Great Moravia, which included Germany, Hungary and Poland. And the Moravian Empire lasted from 830 to 906, and during its lifetime St. Cyril and St. Methodist converted Slovakia to Christianity. But in the 10th century, people called the Magyars, the ancestors of today's Hungarians, as described yesterday in both parts, destroyed the Moravian Empire, and the Magyars settled down and formed the state of Hungary, but still ruled Slovakia, as Hungary was to rule Slovakia for the next 1,000 years essentially. And during the Middle Ages, some economic development did take place in Slovakia, as mining for gold, silver and copper developed, and Slovakia exported fur and amber. And in the 13th century, the Germans settled in the country and town life started to flourish. And in 1526, the Turks won the Battle of Mohacs, and afterwards Hungary was dismembered, and part of it, together with Slovakia, came to be ruled by the Habsburgs of Austria, and Slovakia became part of the later Austro-Hungarian Empire. And meanwhile, in the 17th century, Reformation reached Slovakia as Protestantism had reached Slovakia. But the Catholic Counter-Reformation reconverted many people. And for most of the 18th century, Slovakia was in doldrums. However, at the end of the century, Slovak nationalism began to grow. And in 1792, Anton Benelak founded the Slovak Learned Society, and in the 19th century, the Slovak national revival began, and was led by Dodovic Stur from 1815, who lived from 1815 to 1856, I think. And in 1845, he published the first periodical in the Slovak language. And in 1840s, Europe was rocked by revolutions, and the Hungarians rebelled against the Austrians. But they refused to make any concessions to the Slovaks, as the Slovaks drew up a list of demands that called on the demands of the Slovak nation. But the Hungarians refused all of them. However, the Austrians managed to regain control of the old order returned. And in 1865, the Austro-Hungarian Empire became a dual monarchy, and it split into two parts like Austria and Hungary, with both parts sharing an emperor. And in the late 19th century, the Hungarians tried to Hungarianize Slovakia, as for instance, only the Hungarian language could be used in schools. And to escape the oppressions, many Slovaks emigrated to places like the US of A. And by 1914, the Slovaks were not keen to fight for the Austrians, and many defected and fought against the Austro-Hungarian Empire on the Eastern Front. And Czechs and Slovaks and by then Czechs and Slovaks demanded independence and formed an alliance in May 1918, and they signed the Pittsburgh Declaration agreeing to form a new state after the war. And on the 13th of October 1918, as Austria collapsed, the formation of a new Czech-Slovak state was announced and was called Czechoslovakia. And the 1920s were years of prosperity for said Czechoslovakia. However, the rest of the world, the country suffered from the Depression in the 1930s. And meanwhile, there were Germans living in the border regions of Czechoslovakia and in the Sudetenland. And in 1930, the Germans demanded they be allowed to secede from Czechoslovakia and join Germany. And Hitler also demanded the Sudetenland. And on the 30th of September 1938, the British and French allowed the Germans to absorb the Sunderland without consulting the Czechs, but on the 15th of March 1939, the German army occupied what is now the rest of Czech Republic, and Slovakia became nominally independent, although it was kind of like a German puppet. And the new Slovak government was led by Joseph Tiso under a repressive regime, and during World War II about 73,000 Slovakian Jews were deported and many murders, and like many Slovakian Roma, kind of like the traveller gypsy community, shared the same fate. Now in August 1944, a rebellion called the Slovak National Uprising took place. However, Germany kind of crushed that rebellion, and by the end of 1944, Czechs and Russians had entered Slovakia, and on the 4th of April 1945, a provincial government was formed and consisted of socialists, social democrats and communists. And in 1946, the communist state emerged as the largest party and the dominant coalition government. And by 1948, the communists staged a coup and they introduced a full communist regime, and under the new repressive regime, industry was nationalised and agriculture was collectivised. And many people were imprisoned or executed in that time. And the first appearance of the Communist Party were the rest of the arrested, but then a purge of party members took place and show trials were held. And there was also an era of economic stagnation. However, on the 5th of January 1968, Alexander Dubček, a Slovakian, became head of government. Dubček led a reform movement known as the Prague Spring, as censorship ended and in April 1968 the party published an action programme promising with socialism with human face, in other words democracy and freedom of speech. The Soviets and the Warsaw Pact allies were alarmed and they decided to invade the country. As the Warsaw Pact forces invaded Czechoslovakia, and on the 20th of August 1968, Dubček was arrested and the dictatorship was reimposed, and many communists were expelled from the party, and many lost their jobs. However, the repression did not work, and in 1976 a band called Plastic People of the universe were arrested and charged with crimes against the state. As a result, a group of 243 dissidents formed Chapter 77 to campaign for human rights, including the playwright Václav Havel. And in 1989, communist tyranny kind of started to crumble, and on the 17th of November, the police attacked a student demonstration. The events moved quickly, and on the 2 days later, on the 19th of November, human rights activists formed a civic forum, and on the next day, on the 20th of November, huge demonstrations were held, and followed in the next few days on the November 24th. The government resigned and demonstrations still continued. And on the 27th of November, a 2-hour strike was held, and eventually the communists agreed to end the one-party rule, and also promised to form a coalition government. However, on the 3rd of December, it turned out that the communists dominated the coalition and the people were not satisfied, and they held more demonstrations, and finally on the 10th of December, a new government was formed. This time the communists were a minority in the Federal Assembly, elected Václav Havel as president on the 29th of December. And in June 1990, multi-party elections were held and the process of turning Czechoslovakia into a market economy began, but the Velvet Revolution was followed and by the Velvet Divorce, when Slovakia and the Czech Republic separated, and the split took place on the 1st of January 1993. And independent Slovakia faced many problems. As first its economy was poor, but in the early 20th century the situation began to improve, even as Slovakia suffered from high unemployment. And moving into the 21st century, Slovakia joined the EU in 2004 and joined NATO in 2000 and NATO in 2009, and in the same year they joined the Euro. Now, and in the early 21st century, the economy in Slovakia grew strongly, although the country suffered from high unemployment. And today the population of Slovakia is about 5.5 million. Moving on to language, the Slovak language, or Slovencia, is a West Slavic language closely related to Czech, Polish, and the Slavian languages of Eastern Germany, and is the official language of Slovakia, as Slovakia is written in the Roman or Latin alphabet. And although there are traces of the Slovak language in Latin documents of the 11th to 15th century, and in the Czechs of the 14th to 16th century, the earliest known attempts to increase the use of written Slovak came in the 17th and 18th centuries, wherein Roman Catholics centred in the University of Trnava tried to introduce Slovak for the use of their hymnal and other church books, and the language did not become accepted as a literary language. However, a group led by Protestant Ludovit Stur from 1815 to 1856 began to write in the Central Slovak dialects, and the language of the writings, as modified and codified by Martin Hatala, and his grammar of 1852, gained approval and was accepted as standard. And there are three major Slovak dialects groups: Eastern, Central, and Western, as Western dialects of Slovak made into Moravian dialects of the Czech language, except for the perhaps of extreme Eastern Slovak dialects of the Bohemian Czech dialect. And the dialects of Slovak and Czech were mutually comprehensible, and as for the share sharp linguistical frontiers. In general, Slovak has been more conservative phonetically, while Czech has gone far-reaching changes since the 14th century. In fact, the Slovak has retained like a long syllabic INR series of diphthong. Slovak did not develop the distinctive strident V from sound of Czech. And yeah. So like moving on to legends, as with giving us like the Czech Slovak past and all. And there's like Slovak legends based on captive figures that kind of arose. As there's like many Gothic churches, medieval towns, and torture recordings, naming mountains and like castles serve as an open invitations for like our imaginations and all. But even there's still some truth in legends. And here we go with a few of them, as we start off with Elizabeth Bathory, also known as the Blood Countess. As Elizabeth Bathory was a daughter of a powerful Hungarian aristocrat, and related to warlords, clerics, bishops, as she enjoyed like nearly absolute power in a castle of Kastis. And she exercised that power with like a sadistic side, and eventually garnered a reputation as being the world's first female mass murderer. And she was accidentally discovered the youthful effects of the blood on the skin and took to bathing in the blood of the young women to kind of keep her youthful appearance. And I think she was eventually found. But like, if you want any more, so like, there's likely a whole ton out there on her, as the reports had reached the then Habsburg Emperor Matthias, and yeah. Moving on to Moving on from Elizabeth Bathory, there's the White Lady of Levoka, as Slovakia has 3 white ladies, one from Bratislava, one from Boženice Castle, and the other from Levoka. As one from Levoka is based on Julia Kopenhagova, who was when spying for the Habsburg Emperor in Levoka, the town which had presently besieged by the Habsburg army outside its walls, became the lover of a rebel Hungarian baron, and during the night she stole his keys and let the army in, leading the town to fall. Well, it didn't stop her from meeting an unfortunate end. And there's George Janowski, as he's considered the Slovak Robin Hood for reportedly stealing from the rich and giving to the poor. As Janowski is a beloved figure in Slovak folk art, and he gave rise to many legends, myths, and is a constant mainstay of Slovak literature, noted for his bravery and as a soldier, and is a symbol of resistance. Janowski is equally esteemed by Poles, but Janowski's origins lie in Trnava, in a town in northern Slovakia, and legends surrounding him run around wildly, involving his faultless character as an outlaw and with a purpose. And one of the better known one is Janowski's fist, involving a punishment of an arrogant tyrant on a boulder. Then there's Hedwiga, and after King Philip of Spiš Castle killed the son of a Polish monarch. Legend has it that the Polish king sought revenge by killing Philip's daughter, Barbara. And while Barbara and her sister Hedwiga were alone in the castle, the Polish king seized the castle, and Hedwiga, believing her sister to be dead, jumped from the castle's highest tower. As she jumped, a mysterious face appeared on the wall of the castle that is said to bear a striking resemblance to Hedwiga. There's many other legends as well, like a Virgin Tower featuring a knight called Nicholas whose bride met a tragic end from the tower, a Devon Castle, and 3 twigs of King Spotted Pluck about the great Moravian king's lesson about strength through unity, and there's a well of love involving a Turkish noble reclaiming his love by digging a well for years until they reached the water, and how his efforts were rewarded. Then there's Bratislava Castle, relating to the curious why the castle has so much curious characteristics and all. So yeah, that is Slovakia for you today. And I'll see you all tomorrow. So yeah, I'll say bye for now, and I'll see you all very soon, where I might have some news about the Croatian and England match. So yeah, bye for now.